The sun is starting to warm up all the temperatures here. We're going to see 80 degrees in some parts of Los Angeles County today. For those of you who are on the East Coast and Chicago and Kansas City and other places throughout through the United States of America. And God bless the greatest nation in the world on God's blue-green earth, the beautiful United States of America. It's cold and raining everywhere else. So eat your heart out and don't come here. We have too many people. Too many people living in Los Angeles County. That's the big problem. It's a beautiful place, God's paradise, except for the people. Too many of them. Way too many of them. It has expanded to the degree now that it's beyond what I ever thought would be when I was growing up here. All 55 of my 57 years here in Los Angeles. My goodness, I remember I used to be able to go from Burbank, California to Zuma Beach in 30 minutes, and now it would take me 2 hours to get there, depending on the time and the traffic and the day. It's even crowded at 2 o'clock in the morning on the freeways, and you scratch your head and you go, man, what's going on? Hey, saying hi to our friends on Facebook.com/Jesse Torrero. Saying hi to Dennis Matthews, who has us on, and John Nikamoto, who has us on. Don Barrett, too. Wow, Don Barrett. Don Barrett, let me tell you about Don. He is like the historian of Los Angeles radio here in the Southland. And you got to check out his site, laradio.com. He knows everybody and everything in the radio business. It's pretty amazing. And he's got a great directory of all the greatest that you used to listen to when you were a kid growing up. That, of course, is when radio was really entertaining. Now it's just kind of boring, in that respect. Of course, unless you're listening to the Jesse T Show right here on thepowerofvoices.com and on AM radios all across America. We are on Facebook.com/Jesse Torrero, as well as Instagram Live at Jesse Torrero, exit stage left, saying hi to Old Galem. Old Galem. I like that. It's like Old Salem. Old Galem. Beautiful picture of you. And our Men Metro has us on. Saying hi to Tracy Ellman, who also has us on here. Thanks a lot, Tracy. Appreciate that. Joe Nicastro has us on. And also Jeannie Ambrose has us on. Linda Fettig has us on. And over on our Facebook site, we want you to chime in now. And we're just going to have a general conversation about a whole bunch of things. I'm going to cover a potpourri of topic matter here to throw it out at you and keep it light and bright and happy. That's what we're talking about. Yesterday I came down pretty hard on folks in terms of the gun control issue, but it's pretty amazing what our country has turned into, isn't it? I mean, think about it for a second. Just 40 years ago, it was just so different. And people say you have to accept the change and move on. There's so much to that. That's absolutely true. You can't live in a cave like a hermit and grow a grizzly Adam's beard. I used to serve him lots of tequila when I was a bartender on Ventura and Sherman Oaks. Ventura and Van Nuys Boulevard, Encino, Sherman Oaks area. He used to come in all the time, and he'd pound down those tequilas, man. He liked that. Grizzly Adams. What a good guy. Nice guy. And, of course, he died way before his time. Saying hi to Roger Anthony, who has us on. I think the thing to long life is living a toxic-free life. And not ingesting liquor, not ingesting bad food, not ingesting toxins. Stay away from big pharma and medicine. Try to go more of herbs and kind of the old Chinese way. Find yourself a good old Chinaman doctor. I know. Well, hey, what can I tell you? Over there in Monterey Park, you can find yourself an old 90-year-old guy with a Fu Manchu here, and he's kind of skinny and scrawny, but, man, he'll go like this, and he'll poke you, and he'll check you, pull your thumb, check your fingernails. He'll poke you in places you've never been poked. Ooh, yes. Thank you. And he'll come up with a diagnosis that's like right on the button and give you this big bag full of different kinds of tea leaves, snake heads and lizard butt and all that. You brew that up for like 6 days and drink it. Oh, it's putrid, but boy, I'll tell you, it always solves the ailment. That organic way of health is actually much better than taking a pill for this and a pill for that. And yes, we've turned into a drug-crazed pill society, that's for sure, isn't it? So, I think that we got to get back to some kind of wholesome ideology here to stay healthy, wealthy, and well. And that, of course, is what we try to do for you every Monday here on the Jesse T Show. When we jump down to the real estate corner, we try to get you nice and wealthy, because the best way to become a multi-millionaire, billionaire, gazillionaire in God's USA is through the acquiring of real estate. And hey, you know, it's a long-term investment, and it always pays off. So, the Jesse T Show out on 20 different social network sites. That's right, we are on the air and everywhere from the community to the world. And it's good to have you along with us every day of the week. Our audience is growing. Thank you very much. Thanks for the shares and the likes. And pass the word around, if you will, because we try to cover all the topic and all the matters and all of that stuff to kind of give you kind of some ammunition when you get out there and you start trying to talk to folks about different things. You'll be like me, a head full of cocktail trivia, and just won't know what to do with it. And you might even have to get a TV and radio show too, just to get it out of your brain. Otherwise, it just festers in there and gets crazy. Saying hi to Gwen Legge, who has us on. Thanks a lot, Gwen. Appreciate that. Now, I did want to just touch something real quickly about this gun issue, because this thing just continues to prevail. But it's going to go and get quiet here in a little bit while. It will, you know, like everything. Americans jump on things for a few minutes and then we move on to something else. And we are like ADD, you know. Americans all have ADD as far as our attention span is concerned. We can't watch a movie that doesn't have 75 cuts in it in about a minute and a half. We have to have that loud, banging, explosive music and all those crazy things on CNG screens. I mean, can you imagine watching Humphrey Bogart and Casablanca? I mean, where the scenes just go on and on and on forever, but really there's got to be some true acting there. So talk about that. I was out at a terrific premiere last night. Yeah, just the Jesse T Show After Hours. That's what I'm calling it now. We're going to be doing a lot of that. Jesse T Show After Hours. I was in North Hollywood, ironically, at a place I used to work at when I was 16 years old, the Regency Theater. Of course, the neighborhood was a lot different than when I was 16 in '76, but still, nevertheless, it was a great time. Massimiliano Cerce, Max Cerce, wrote and directed and partly produced a great film with the terrific actor. If you remember Eddie and the Cruisers, you can go to my Facebook site at facebook.com/Jesse Torrero, and you can check out Eddie and the Cruisers. Michael Pere, that's right. I always get that name mixed up. So kind of a Frenchy kind of Spanish name. Michael Pere, and he was terrific in this movie called Mayday. If you like Twilight Zone and The Outer Limits, but you like, you know, good acting and great writing and a terrific script, you're going to kind of like this movie Mayday. It's already going to be distributed, and I understand they're going to go for massive release. It's a terrific movie. Scott Iragati's in it, and Michael Pere is in it. And it's directed and written by Max Cerce. Also, the devilish evil woman, Crystal Santos. Crystal Santos is in it. Boy, I'm not going to tell you too much more about it. Don Barrett, do your fans know your incredible radio career? Not really, Don. I don't talk about that too much to them. I appreciate that, Don. Coming from you, my friend, that is very kind words. Don Barrett, everybody, from LARadio.com just checked in on Facebook.com/Jesse Torrero. You can find out about all the great guys you used to listen to and the great gals. I mean, we're going way back in time. Bob Eubanks, Casey Kasem, Wolfman Jack, Huggy Boy. We're going back way, 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 way back in time, and he brings it all forward and current. I mean, just about everybody who's ever touched the microphone of a Los Angeles radio station, Don Barrett has it in this terrific, I guess you call it a directory, and a little piece of what their career was about and stuff like that, and he updates it pretty good. There's some great, fantastic talent. You know, you really begin to realize how much talent came through the Los Angeles radio scene here in L.A. over a massive amount of time, from the time KFI first came on the air in the 1920s. 64 KFI, yeah, right. You know the station I'm talking about, with the big giant antenna along the 5 freeway that goes up so high. So anyhow, the thing is here, which is it's just a massive amount of talent that's come through. It's mind-boggling. It's just mind-boggling how many great men and women have participated in Los Angeles radio, and I have been so blessed that over the years I've had the radio scene in Los Angeles, just of the kind of the golden years of radio before the big corporations took over. I did work for some of those stations, though. Of course, here's a career that's continued to go on. But so anyway, Don Barrett's got a great directory. You got to check it out. It's laradio.com, I believe it is, and you can buy and become a subscriber of his monthly newsletter. It tells you all about everything going on before anybody else knows it. This guy's got the inside on everything. Thanks, Don. I really appreciate the very nice thoughts he had there and the kind words. And now we got to get Jesse T back on the air. I'm making a big push here in 2018, folks, to get myself back in and on LA radio on the terrestrial side. Of course, we're on the online side, and we got stations around the country taking our digital feed. But I want to get back into Los Angeles on the terrestrial side. I think it's time to do that in that respect. And we get we're getting a huge audience here on our network, KTNT Radio and TV Broadcasting Podcasting, on the foundation of the Power of Voices.com. So I was talking about Michael Perry. We were out at the premiere last night, and I posted all those interviews up. It was terrific. What a great movie, Mayday. You got to check it out. It's really William Shatner-ish in a lot of ways. Crystal Santos, Michael Perry, Scott Ingrati, so many other great actors and actresses in it. It's a thriller, suspense. It's got some great laughs in it. So check it out. Look for it. And you can go to, once again, our Facebook page at facebook.com/Jesse Torrero. Toggle down just a little bit, and you, of course, will be able to see some advertising. Look on for the new Michael Perry movie, Lockdown. If you don't know who Michael Perry is, go to his IMDb site. Check him out. Remember Eddie and the Cruisers? They did Eddie and the Cruisers 1 and 2. A handsome guy. I'm going to tell you, man, the guy hasn't changed one bit in 39 years. It's unbelievable how this man's kept his looks. And man, I just love that original movie, Eddie and the Cruisers. What a great movie. And maybe we might have Eddie and the Cruisers 3, and that would be kind of cool because everybody wants to know what happened to Eddie and the Cruisers. All right, so that was the Jesse T Show after hours, but we're on the air and everywhere from the community to the world, coming at you right now here live and red hot and rolling. So I did want to talk a little bit about, just to cap it on, because we're going to cover a lot of topics real fast here today as we move closer and closer to the weekend here in Los Angeles, California. I just wanted to cover this gun stuff, and I'm going to cover it in a couple of ways. First off, I want to tell you that when a country loses its ability to own weapons, when the government or any other entities come in and take the weapons, the way a country that can defend itself away from the countrymen and countrywomen or the countrymen, then that country falls into great tyranny and disgusting, terrible, rotten things happen. So just let me give you a couple of statistics, some food for thought when you start going out there and arguing with people that we shouldn't have any weapons, we shouldn't have this, we shouldn't have that. Look at, the one thing that I noticed with these 500,000 people out there this weekend over in Los Angeles protesting and gun violence, nobody had any solutions. They were just all pointing the fingers. When you point your finger, my friends, you got 3 fingers pointing back at you, right? Right there. When you point your finger, always remember you got 3 fingers pointing back at you. Saying hi to Jesse and the Fancy Cats. Hey, Jesse, all right. I like that. The Fancy Cats has us on Instagram Live at Jesse Torrero. So, by the way, yes, we're on Blogger, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, over 2 million views on Google+. Google itself, the website, the platform, over 15 million internet impressions. Facebook, we've got pretty near 100,000 shares every single month, brand new shares and likes. So I appreciate that. And we're also on, I think I said Blogger and Tumblr, and we're on Diggy, and we are on Pinterest, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Skype, Messenger, and everywhere. We're just pushing it out, pushing out, and pushing out. Soon to come, Amazon Prime. I'm talking with them right now to get the Jesse T Show up there on a daily shot on Amazon Prime. So that'll be kind of cool too. Hey, we're a music group with autism, Jesse and the Fancy Cats. Hey, I'd like to come see you guys play. So Jesse, reach out to us here on my messenger at Jesse Torrero on Messenger, and let us know what you're happening. I kind of like that. We're a music group with autism. Very cool. I'd love to see that. Right on, man. Hey, you see? Right on. Yeah. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, right on. Let's go out there and support you. Now, anyway, back to these gun things. Nobody offered up any solutions out there at the big protests in the 800 cities. Nobody offered any solutions. They were just all complaining, whining like big fat crybabies that didn't have a sucker when their mommies didn't buy them or their daddies didn't buy them a little toys at Toys R Us. All right, thank God that place is going out of business. Oh my goodness, when my kids were growing up, I spent so much money there. It was like going into hell. It was the deepest abyss that I could ever go into. Ah, yeah, I'm so glad that place is closing down. Anyway, so check this out. So you all know what Russia's about. Of course you know Russia. Everybody's talking about Russia. I'm never Russian because I'm never moving too fast. That's right. But Joseph Stalin, who inherited Russia from Lenin, actually Lenin was poisoned by the Vatican. There's a whole other story there that I'm working on a movie right now supporting the historical prospects of this movie and as a co-writer and co-producer of this movie. So it's going to be really terrific. So I can't talk any more about it. But anyway, Joseph Stalin, who inherited Russia from Lenin, who Lenin was poisoned. And so, by the way, so was Stalin. In reality, Stalin was poisoned too. He was really a Vatican plant. Joseph Stalin, a lot of people don't realize that he was a Jesuit conduit. He was going to become a Jesuit preacher in Russia. He went to a Jesuit school and was studying that his whole life. So he, of course, when he took over Russia and communist Russia, he took away the guns. That's the first thing he did in 1929. In 1929, way before the war, he took away all the guns and then murdered 5.4 million people. Did you hear that last thing I said? Joseph Stalin took away all the guns in 1929, then murdered 5.4 million people. What a lot of folks don't realize, after the war ended and he went back and started bringing all the power under his umbrella after the war, he murdered another 25 million people in his country. Oh, that's not talked about in history. No. They didn't have any guns. They didn't have any guns to protect themselves. You see, when a country takes away your guns, when a government takes away your guns, then you have no way of protecting yourself. See, that's the problem, that people, they don't understand what they're doing when they're doing something that they think they're doing, which is right, but they don't understand the wrinkles of waves of time and the bigger element here. Hey, Jesse and the Fancy Cat says they have a concert on April 20th at the Chelsea Senior Center in Fanwood, New Jersey. So we got some New Jersey cats watching us on Jesse T Show. Hey, thanks a lot on our digital broadcasting network and podcasting network, KTNT, radio and TV. So Jesse and the Fancy Cats, who are autistic, and they're an artistic rock and roll band. Cool, man. They have a concert on April 20th at the Chelsea Senior Center in Fanwood, New Jersey, and it's a tribute to the 1960s at 7 and open to the public and free admission. So if you're out in the East Coast, go check them out. Let me know. Send us some footage. Love to see these guys perform. So let's go down a little bit farther. Mao Zedong, right? Mao Zedong? Oh, that's China? China? Yeah. We know about China, right? The new president is like president for life now, right? Sort of kind of reminds you of a dictator, right? Mao Zedong. He took away the guns in 1935 in China when he came into power. Took away all the guns and then murdered 20 million people. That's like murdering everybody in the state of Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Wyoming, and Colorado. Just killing them all. Oh, yeah. They didn't have any guns to protect themselves. Oh, and then came along a friend of ours. Yeah, that's right. He's a pal of ours, right? especially with the way some of these protests come along this beautiful man. Oh, historically, his name was Hitler, Adolf Hitler, right? A Bavarian Jew, a peasant who rose to power. In 1938, he took away all the guns in Germany. Guess what happened? You think they all kind of played with Play-Doh from Toys R Us? You think they all got together and played musical chairs? Or maybe they got together and played Patty Cake, Baker's Man. No, he began to murder 13 million people. Took away all the guns. And then Pol Pot. Oh, in my lifetime, 1976, when I was driving my 1976 Ford Pinto lowered to the ground with a V8 engine in it. Actually, it was a V6 Mercury engine in it. I had it blueprinted and just tweaked to the max with a Huffy slap shift, a cut Shelby rear end, lowered like a fist off the ground, big 50 series tires all the way around, a roll bar in it, aircraft landing lights in front. It's like a little freaking slot car in 1976. I used to race it up in Mulholland. Yeah, I used to do that. I was a road racer up in Mulholland, but traffic wasn't as bad as it is now. And, oh, no, hey, I did crash into the mountain a couple of times. There's a harrowing story. We actually went off the cliff, and because I had a Shelby cut, a Positrack rear end, both tires were digging, and one was off the cliff, and one was still digging on the asphalt, and it kind of ricocheted me back, and I went right into the side of the mountain. But, yeah, in 1976, when John Travolta was introducing me to Saturday Night Fever, baby, right, 76, right, and I was putting on the white suit, yeah, learning how to disco dance, because that's where all the girls were. 1976, here in America, oh, there was a guy named Pol Pot. Pol Pot, remember that guy? You heard about him. Right, over there in Cambodia. Pol Pot and Vietnam, right? Remember him? After he moved in? Guess what? He took away all the guns. Oh, shall we say it all together? He then murdered 2 million people. Hey guys, the next time you hear the government wanting to take away your guns, set new legislation, we already have enough rules on the book. California has the most strict gun laws in the nation. And I bought all of my weapons here in California. If you're a good person, you pass it. If you're a bad person, you don't. Bad guys always get guns. They don't go through the system. So, hey, think twice. Be careful what you ask for. The next time you hear the government taking away or wanting to take away all these stupid snot-nosed, bratty, rat-fink kids, okay? Yeah, they're snot-nosed kids, okay? Remember, whose interests they are protecting. So you're looking for a job. Hey, saying hi to George and Amaya and Bruce. Hey, Bruce. What you doing, buddy? Bruce over there, Bruce E, baby, over there on the East Coast. What's happening, Bruce? You looking for a job? I got some great jobs for you. The Jesse T. Jobs Report. That's right. I got a job for you. I used to have a syndicated show I called I Got a Job for You. Well, after decades of pushing bachelor degrees upon everybody, we actually need more tradespeople. Did you know that? We actually need people that actually know how to do something. Yeah. Yeah, really. What a concept. At a steel factory, as an example, dwarfed by the adjacent Auto Club Speedway, Fernando Esperanza is working towards his next promotion. Esperanza is a 46-year-old mechanic for Evolution Fresh, a subsidiary of Starbucks that makes juices and smoothies. He's taken a class in industrial computing taught by a community college at a local manufacturing plant in the hope it will bump his wages up. It's a pretty safe bet, too. The skills being taught here are in high demand. That's in part because so much effort has been put into encouraging high school graduates to go to college for academic degrees rather than for training in industrial arts. That's right, and other trades that many fields like his field face major shortages. Just in California now, we're spending $6 million on a campaign to revive the reputation of vocational education and $200 million to improve the delivery of it. You know, when I was in high school at Poly High School in the Sun Valley, San Fernando Valley, it was Polytech. They had wood shop, they had auto shop, they had print shop, they had jewelry shop, they had typing, shorthand, and stenography, believe it or not. They had electric shop. They had a couple other shops. And you would come out of high school learning the basics of these trades. And you could go out and get a job paying pretty darn good wages as just a rookie. They actually taught people how to use their hands. Okay? And I remember when they discontinued all that, I had graduated from high school, with 10 years later, in '88, I kind of was going back and doing some stuff around the neighborhood, selling a lot of real estate property in the neighborhood where I grew up in. And all these trades were gone at the school. They were afraid that people were going to shoot, stab, cut, steal. And so they locked down all these shops. You know, the politically correct bubbleheads that have infiltrated our nation like a cancer over the last 30 to 40 years have destroyed America. It's just that simple. So now we have a shortage. So guys, if you're looking to get a gig and you want a good job, become a tradesperson. You can pay, you know, some of these jobs start at $55,000 a year, go up to $100,000. Yeah. It's unbelievable. Okay? It's unbelievable. So you gotta start looking, you know, kind of out of the box. I'll tell you what, I'm a real estate broker and loan professional here for 40 years in the Southern California area. That was my profession and trade. It kept me around the entertainment business because the entertainment business is like a roller coaster ride, you know? You're up, you're down, you're up, you're down, you're up, you're down, right? Unless, of course, you know, you're like John Travolta or Frank Sinatra or Leonardo DiCaprio, okay? You know, but unfortunately, we all can't be like that, all right? So the issue is you got to have someplace to support yourself and your family. And if you want to have a home and you want to have a normal American life, what left of there it is, you have to have some sort of income. And I will tell you this, I would rather have a guy or a gal who makes $55,000 to $80,000, $90,000 a year on a steady job that's a trade that works day in and day out and gets a W-2 at the end of the year for several, 2, 3, 4, 5 years and a tax return any day over somebody whose income is sporadic. Those loans are a lot easier to do. And the lenders like you because they know you're going to be there to pay their bill. So just some words of wisdom. Hey, if we take away the guns, if we take away all the guns, bad guys are going to be bad guys. I mean, that's a concept, right? Well, and here's an example. In Britain right now, they don't have any guns, okay? So the bad guys don't use guns. The terrorists use bombs and trucks and they use those and germ warfare and all that stuff, but they don't have any guns. So you know what the criminals are doing on the street now? Instead of using guns, they're walking into stores and robbing stores. They're robbing people not at gunpoint, but by acid point. They're carrying around containers of acid. And they're threatening people that if you don't give me whatever you're going to give me, whatever I want, I'm going to throw this acid all over your face. And you are going to be horrible looking the rest of your life. There were over 700 acid attacks in the year 2017 in Britain. So you guys, bad guys are going to be bad guys. You do that to me, I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to pull my .45 out from underneath my jacket and I'm shooting you. That's what I'm going to do. threaten me or my family with acid? Are you kidding me? But you see, the people there in Britain don't have a way to protect themselves. And the list goes on. And the beat goes on. Hey, little fat boy, rocket boy, got sent to China. Big Daddy called him. Me poppy called me. So I went running to China the other day, and he got the lowdown. China said, "Hey, you better back off on those nuclear weapons, otherwise we're going to take you out." So he came back. He's going to denuclearize the Korean Peninsula now. So people are telling me all kinds of things about Trump. You guys got to remember something about this guy. And this is what you fail to understand if you don't understand this. So let me clear it up for you. Let me get you straight on the point here. Okay? He is a deal maker. That's what he does. He makes deals. He negotiates. This is what Donald Trump does. So what he did is he comes strong against this little rocket boy, this little fat boy. You know, he could have been a rapper. In fact, the fat boy should come back and have a rapper that looks just like Kim Jong-un, right? We can call them the fat Korean rappers. Or we can call them, yo, SA, hey, your little eyes, right? Little eyes with a big belly. The point is, he comes hard, boom, he puts everybody right at the edge, and then China, who's freaking out, and Russia too, they're scared to death, shaking in their boots, because we are the greatest nation the world's ever seen, and we still are the greatest nation, military power and economic force that the world has ever seen and will ever see. Okay? Oh, they're desperately trying to surpass our Navy by 2030. It's not going to happen. And Russia, do they really have these hypersonic missiles, or is this just Reagan and Star Wars playing a poker game and bluffing? I don't know. Maybe. But so he comes hard against this little fat boy, and China gets really worried now. So we got a lot of ships over there. We got a lot of material over there. And Trump is just a little bit crazy. And I kind of like my president to be a little bit crazy, because if the rest of the world thinks he's a little bit disjointed and crazy, I got no problem with that. Because we've been following the same international policy since the end of World War II, and we're predictable. They know what we're going to do. It's like being married for 70 years. You know what's happening, man. You know what's happening, right? There's nothing wrong being married for 70 years. I can put you all about 90 if you got married when you're 20. But you know what's happening. There ain't no surprises here. You're going to do the same thing on Monday that you did for the last 50 years on Mondays, right? So that's sort of what, like, Americans' international policy has been about. It's sort of like the old married couple. They can count on us doing what we're going to do. But Trump gets in there and he just kind of puts everybody on edge. I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that rebel, man. I like it. I like it. I do. I knew he would do that. That's why I voted for him. So now he forces Fat Boy and scares the hell out of China. China calls Fat Boy back home to Poppy. Poppy lays down the gauntlet. He comes back and he's agreed to denuclearize Korean Peninsula. And the reason why he's doing that, because they just aren't sure on Trump. The guy just might pull the trigger. And they don't want that to happen, and I'll tell you why. Nobody wants to die and destroy the world. But they want to take over the world. They want a prolonged time before they and Russia come together and attack America. Mark my words. Sometime in the not too distant future, I am the prognosticator of truth. I'm telling you, everything that's happening right now, I said and talked about for the last 40 years, and I don't care what you think about whether I'm just spoofing stuff out of the top of my head or not. If you've known me for 40 years, you know that everything I've talked about is happening right in front of our eyes right now. Mark my words. Somewhere, I think, between 2025 and 2055, Russia and China are going to combine forces and attack America. And they're going to attack us with sophisticated weapons that we better get our power grid down. We better control and protect ourselves against EMP explosions at 200 miles. Otherwise, we are goners, and every one of us are going to pray to God we got enough ammunition to kill all the Russians and Chinese that are going to be attacking Venice Beach. I'm telling you. They want domination. They see this next 100 years as their empire. Are we going to let that happen? Are you going to let that happen? Do you want to have your guns taken away and then murdered? I'm so glad that California is throwing this guy in jail. Now, of course, he's a Democrat. California gun control Senator Yee heads to prison for gun trafficking. Now, this dude was like the poster child for gun control in California. He's a Democrat, right? Senator. So now this guy, he heads to prison for weapons trafficking. Accepting bribes and extorting money. And he's a Democrat in California. Need I say more? Oh, the hypocrisy. And I love this African American lady and this I think she's a Latino lady holding a sign in Los Angeles that say white men with guns are America's biggest terrorists. When the homicide rates by race are 16.2%, 7% black, Hispanics have a 5.2%, 4%, whites have a 1.7%, and Asians have a 0.9%. And you go check out those statistics. And in the Huffington Post, there was something that was posted up today that said Obama was a cocaine-using gay hustler. His ex-classmate claims, and it's posted up in the Huntington Post. Now, come on, is that a magazine that you guys think is a good magazine? This is a headline in the Huntington Post. Obama was a cocaine-using gay hustler, says woman who claims to have been Hawaiian classmate. A woman who claims to have been a classmate delivered some bizarre claims about President Barack Obama in an interview. As Right Wing Watch first reported, Mia Maria Pope told right-wing preacher James David Manning that she believes that Obama was not only active within the gay community, but also a heavy cocaine user during his years in Hawaii. I don't know if he's that, because there is some argument about that, but I don't know if he's that. But he was very corrupt. There's no doubt about it. He and Clinton. And everybody's so stuck on this Stormy Davis. She's a whore. She's a prostitute. She gets paid to have sex. That's what she does. And top it off, she's an actress too. Okay? So we can just discount her whole story. But the great philanderer, while in the office, was not Clinton. Oh, no. Clinton was pretty bad. I mean, he was getting BJs in the Oval Office. I wonder if they were using the Oval technique. Lord, I'm going to get myself in so much trouble today. But the greatest philanderer that we know of at this point was not President Trump. And it certainly was not President Clinton, but he was awful close. It was actually JFK. the senator from Massachusetts, John F. Kennedy, and the other woman was a stripper named Tempest Storm. That was the first one we know about. Yeah, I tell you, Tempest, we know about. She did French peep shows. And she first encountered Kennedy after performance at the Casino Royale in Washington, D.C. She later wrote in her memoir that she had no idea who Kennedy was, yeah, right, and had little interest in talking with him initially, sure. But she was taken by the senator's stunning good looks and said their sexual relationship began the next evening. She said their occasional trysts, which ended well before he became president, typically took place at the Mayflower Hotel, according to Storm, who is now 90. Kennedy confided that he was not happily married, that Jackie was cold towards him. But we also know that Kennedy also messed around with the mafia mistress, Giancana, his mistress, while he was in the White House. And there's all kinds of stories about Kennedy and the Treasury Department hustling girls in through the tunnels at the White House, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, when you start looking at the greatest philanderer of our modern time, it was certainly John F. Kennedy. But of course, you know, it's Camelot, Camelot, da, 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 Camelot, Camelot, right? Yeah, okay. So this is interesting. In London, if you think that Muslims are now taking over London, and they're taking over Germany because they let like 1.5 million. They have a terrible problem in France and Germany. We have French people in Germany and German people in Germany that we know through soccer, because my daughter's a professional soccer player with the NWSL Chicago Red Stars, and she keeps in contact with her friends from Europe because she played in Europe for 4 years. In London, London closed down 500 churches. Yeah. We're not talking about the Protestant Revolution here, the Protestant Reformation. No, no. What opened up was 423 new mosques. What does that tell you? It's the Islamization of London. It's almost complete, with hundreds of official Sharia courts operating in the capital. That's right. London's going to have a problem. London has fallen. Germany's gone and France is gone. The #1 name in continental Europe now on birth certificates is Mohammed. What does that tell you? 25, 30 years ago, the #1 name on birth certificates was Gonzalez and Hernandez here in America. I remember when I broke that story, and it blew me away, because one of the neighborhoods that I was selling a lot of real estate in all of a sudden started changing within a year. It went from old retired white folks who worked at Lockheed and General Motors and the motion picture business after World War II to lots of new Latino families. And I said to myself, boy, the neighborhood's really changing. Culturally, it was changing too, because it was the way in which that they constructed their houses by building big walls and fences. And I certainly could understand that, because Mexico is no fun place to live. Let me tell you, they don't mess around. It's all corrupt there anyway, for the most part. I got some corrupt stories I can tell you. I can't even go back to Mexico. I can never go back to Mexico, and I haven't gone since 1994. One day I'll tell you that story. But nevertheless, I said, boy, and then the census came out, I believe in 1990. The 1990 census came out, and it was showing that the #1 birth certificate across the nation was Gonzalez and Hernandez. And so now flash forward 40 years, 35 to 40 years, you got it. America has changed tremendously. And now I'm reading a book right here by Stephen Phillips called Brown is the New White. Brown is the New White by Stephen Phillips. It's a New York bestseller. I picked this up. I've just started reading it. Because you see, folks, the white race, you guys that hate white people, you guys that don't like white people, don't worry about it. Like they say in New York, don't worry about it. Forget about it. All the white people are going to be gone in 50 to 100 years anyway. Yeah, because you see, brown is the new white. Okay? They just aren't making enough babies. The white folks aren't making enough babies. They ain't having fun at night enough. So don't worry about it. Forget about it. The people you hate, you people that hate white people, don't worry about it. Forget about it. Because they're all going to be dead anyway, extinct within 100 years. Yeah, they're gone. Get rid of them. Don't worry about it. Forget about it. Come on. It's just happening by attrition. Yep, that's right. That's right. Absolutely. So, you see, you got to think things out of the box and kind of look at things from a different way. Say hi to Louis D. Louis D has us on. Thanks a lot, Louis D. Joe Stryko has us on. George Nemaya has us on. Thank you, Jake. Thank you, George. I appreciate that. I thank you, man. Lee Michaels has us on. Big Lee Baby Michaels. Got a great talk show on thepowervoices.com every day from 10 to 12, even though we're dynamically on both sides of the spectrum differently. Not really. We kind of meet in the middle on a lot of stuff. But hey, thanks a lot for the loves and hugs and kisses, guys. Appreciate it. Lee's got a great slant on things. Check it out. It's completely opposite of mine. But, you know, in order to make a good decision about something, you have to have both sides of the coin, right? Then you can do a little homework and a little research and make it happen for yourself. That's really the key, you know, is being able to look at both things with an open mind and come to some sort of idea for yourself. That's really what it's all about. So I promised I wanted to talk about this a little bit because I think this is so important because it's not taught in school. We don't have any civics anymore in school. They stopped doing that decades ago. They don't want anybody to know how the government works. They don't want, look it, if you don't know how something works, how can you know if it's good or bad? And if you don't even care to know, and if you don't even know to care to know, then it's not even going to be seen by you. So, you know, it's like, if you don't know wrong is wrong and right is right, when you do wrong, you think you're doing right because you don't know what wrong is, because you don't know what right is. And if you think you're doing right and you're actually doing wrong, then to you, you're doing right even though it's wrong. You see, I know there's an oxymoron, it's a circular argument, but you figure it out. So here's the Constitution of the United States of America. These are all the amendments. I'm gonna do this real quick, okay? Now, Amendment number 1. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. Well, that's been completely subjugated. Number 3. No soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. Well, we've seen martial law in this country, right? So that's been obliterated. Number 4. The right of the people to be secure in the persons, houses, papers, and effects against reasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue, but upon a probable cause, supported by the oath or affirmation, and particularly describe the place to be searched and the persons of things to be seized. Well, you know, they completely violated Trump's rights there on number 4, so that one doesn't work anymore. Number 5, no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a indictment of a jury, except in the case arising in the land of naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any crime case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. That one's been blown away. Number 6, in a criminal prosecution, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and the cause of the accusation. To be confronted with the witness against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. Well, we know that that's been completely blown out of the water. Number 7. In suits like common law, where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, well, it's more than that now. The right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in a court of the United States than according to the rules of the common law. Yeah, right. How many times a day do we see that one blown away by government, by the politicians, by the policing agencies, by people, by these low-life, backstabbing, cheating lawyers? Number 8, excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. Certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. Number 10, the powers not delegated in the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively to the people. Well, that's been completely screwed up. And then, of course, there's several more. And I'll just go on reading here. Number 11, the judicial power of the United States shall not be construed to extend to any suit in law or equity commenced or prosecuted against one of the United States by citizens of another state or by citizens of subject or foreign state. Yeah, right. Big corporations do that all the time. I'm just trying to find an amendment, a bill that hasn't been screwed up yet by our politicians, our government, big banking, corporations, the oligarchy. Number 12, this is a big, long one, and this is the 12th Amendment. It's a long one, so I'm going to blow over that one because I won't get done with that, but that's a long one. Number 13, passed by Congress. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted shall exist within the United States or a place subject to their jurisdiction. Sure. In Part 2, Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Oh, yeah, they do. Number 14. This is a long one. This is 3 sections. So we're going to pass that one up there. Just let me tell you, it's 5 sections. That one's been totally messed up. Number 15. Section 1, the right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state or account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Yeah, how many times has that been violated? Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes or incomes. Oh, yeah, they like this one. From whatever source derived, without apportionment among the several states and without regard to any census or remuneration. And that's number 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27. Let me just say, I can't find a darn constitutional amendment that hasn't been violated tremendously by big banking, big corporations, the oligarchy, corrupt government, lawyers, the courts, attorneys, and any power that wants to change and do whatever they want, because we really are not living in a republic anymore. We are living in an oligarchy. We do not have by democratic rule. We have by whatever rule the elite globalist oligarchy want. They control everything. The only one they don't control is this one. And they want it desperately. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's the Second Amendment. And they're doing everything they can to erode that like a drop of water on a granite rock. Over millions of years, it creates the Grand Canyon. Are you going to let them do it? Are you going to let them have their way? Are you going to give it to them? I hope not. The Jesse T Show right here on thepowerofvoices.com. Good to have you along with me, Jesse T. And, of course, on Facebook.com/Jesse Torrero. We're archiving up right now on YouTube. Jesse Torrero, we want you to be there because that's where we got all our shows. I'm loading up. I'll have about 1,000 different shows on there by the end of the month, the next month. I'm loading up everything. Everything that I've ever done is going to be there. Boy, I've done some crazy, wild things, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I invite you to check them all out. Getting ready for Amazon Prime. Yeah, they need a lot of products, so we're going to try to work some things out for them. Also, thanking our friends over here on Instagram Live at Jesse Torrero. I appreciate that very much on Instagram Live and for checking in with us. And we can't forget about our friends on Twitter and LinkedIn. We're tweeting a lot more every day now. Yeah, well, you know, I got to do what I got to do. So we got to build that Twitter audience up, okay? So we'll look for the Twitters here from Jesse Torrero. That's me. Torrero is my last name, otherwise known as Jesse T. Also saying hi to our friends on Google Plus, and we can't forget about our friends at thepowerofvoices.com. Of course, that's where you can download the free app for Apple and the free app for Android on thepowerofvoices.com with tons and tons of different types of shows on every day of the week. You'll be sure to find something that you really fall in love with. And we invite you to listen and watch here to the Jesse T Show every Monday through Friday. Tomorrow, we got a great show lined up for you, and we'll be running a terrific program, so look forward to that. And then on Friday, we got road tripping. I'm working on getting that production done because we're going to start doing road tripping, loading up. Dan the Man and I are going to start making that happen, where we go out and we kind of investigate cool things around Los Angeles, historical places right now we're going to be starting with, and I'm going to act out all the stories. No! Hey, I can't help but being me, Jesse T. Thanks a lot to Max Searche last night for having us out there at May Day at the world premiere of a terrific movie. Lockdown is coming up. We can't wait for that. And we're going to get some of those guests in here, Scott and Grody, also Crystal Santos and Michael Paris. We're going to get him in there. Go to our Facebook site and check out some of the cool stuff that we're loading up right now. Well, that's it for the Jesse T Show. I appreciate you checking in here. And as we roll on down the road, and it's good to have you along with me, Jesse T. For Lee Michaels and the man. And Dave John Fraley. This is the Jesse T Show. The Brown Beauty is off duty. See ya. Boom.